Welcome to class. I believe this is class 11. Please like and subscribe. Today we are working on the subject of emotional vampires, or psychic vampires, or spiritual vampires. They are all one and the same. There are slight differences I will explain in a little bit. But before I get into it, I am no longer affiliated with the Jacksonville Witches Society. That is why the name has changed. And the link has changed and everything. That's a long story in itself that I don't really want to get into at the moment. At least not directly. But, so, psychic vampires. The first book ever written about psychic vampires was written in 1853 by C.W. Webers. It was called Spiritual Vampirism, The History of Ethereal Softdown. Let's discuss what a psychic vampire is. Between folklore and actuality. A psychic vampire is a concept either in folklore or describing a personality type, where an individual is believed to drain the emotional, spiritual energy of others, leaving them feeling depleted and exhausted. Everyone has encountered one. There is no denying it. Whether you knew you did or not, everyone has encountered one. In a more figurative sense, it describes a person who consistently leaves others feeling emotionally drained after interaction. These individuals may engage in behaviors that deplete others' energy, such as constant complaining, negativity, or manipulation. So very much narcissistic traits in clinical terms. They might be seen as energy suckers who thrive on drama or attention. These behaviors include being overly negative, criticizing others, or refusing to take responsibility for their actions, which include twisting things to try to make something someone else's fault, even if it isn't. Psychic vampires are also prone to, and when I say attention seekers, they are extreme attention seekers. They will go to any extreme they can to make sure your world revolves around them and only them. They are very dangerous for empaths to be around, because empaths feel strongly and they want to help others or fix others. It's what we're drawn to do. And that's very dangerous. We want to save everyone, even though we can't. Which leads to, in some cases, threats of unaliving themselves. Because they know that's one extreme where they won't be ignored. And if they don't like the results, which they never like the results no matter what the result is, they'll be pissed off no matter what, they'll go on the attack in some way, shape, or form. In the non-magical sense, non-magical world, they will badmouth you. They will badmouth you even if you didn't do anything Honestly. You could go down there to paint their house, and all of a sudden, the next day when someone comes over, they're trash talking you. It's how they are. Or in the magical sense, they can curse you, hex you, curse your entire coven, and you might be in a bad spot for a while until you realize what's going on and you do something about it. And in separating those ties, negative things do happen when you get too close. It's a very complicated ordeal, and they will blame you for something or everything or whatever. They might even try to blame you for losing their job when you have nothing to do with their job. Something stupid and extreme. And that's just like a random example out of thin air. I've never seen that happen personally. Even though I could see someone going, they put me in such a dire strait and I was so emotionally damaged I couldn't concentrate at work. I couldn't do my job and I lost my job because of this person. I can see someone pulling that. Who, I don't know, but I can see someone pulling that. Alright. So, recognizing the signs. Constant negativity, neediness and attention seeking. If they want you attached to their hip 24/7 and they're constantly negative, they're an energy vampire. Manipulation and guilt tripping, inability to empathize. Again, all narcissistic traits. Unfortunately. I guess in a sense there's a clinical word for everything and a magical word for everything. I'm starting to learn that. It's very interesting. Other signs would be just being around them no matter what the setting. No matter what the setting. At their house, at a group gathering, whatever, will leave you feeling completely wiped. And you won't understand why. You could have had a full night's sleep the night before, had 4 cups of coffee, and you were great before you got there. And you leave and you're completely exhausted. Even if you didn't even do anything, you're completely wiped. Energy vampire or psychic vampire. Okay, before I go to protecting your energy, let's discuss the difference and similarities between psychic vampire, energy vampire, and emotional vampire. They're all psychic vampires. For some reason, I think it's this new generation. They want to micro-categorize everything. So now it's micro-categorized into energy vampire and emotional vampire. And apparently, they say the difference is an energy vampire plays on your spiritual energy and an emotional vampire plays on your emotions. Hate to tell you, but a psychic vampire is a psychic vampire, and they do both. Now, granted, a good bit of psychic vampires don't realize that's what they are. Even in outside of the magical world, so to speak, and the normal mundane day-to-day, you're going to come across them. They're not going to know it's what they are and what they do. They just naturally do it. I have full belief that it's just a natural ability some people are born with, which is why I keep coming back to narcissistic traits. typically, from looking back and forth, typically someone who is highly narcissistic is also a psychic vampire. They really go hand in hand. So let's go to protecting your energy. One, you got to set boundaries. You have to be assertive about your boundaries when you discuss it with them. You tell them exactly how it's going to be. They're not going to like it. They never do. But you have to be assertive. You need to reduce your exposure so you have time to recover and you can brace yourself for the next time. I had one at one point. Oh God, there were a couple. Because I'm thinking back, and there were a couple before I even came into witchcraft. It's almost, they feel the need to have a constant need of you. And to be fair, they don't know why. They think it's because you're a good friend and you're being supportive, so they need you around constantly. Though that's not necessarily the case. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's not the root cause. I remember there was one I spoke to online, and if he didn't have his way, and he would complain about everything, bitch about everything. And he had been committed before. And he was talking about wanting to date. He lived in Mississippi. I'm in Florida. I'm not, no. He was threatening to kill himself whenever I tried to tell him no. I had to fully cut ties. I couldn't deal with it. I had dealt with it for months and months and months, and I couldn't deal with it. There was another case where it turned into me going to this person's house almost every day. And there was always something negative to say. This person was crying about something, about their ex, about this, about that. You know, saying that this person was smoking drugs and all this other craziness. And it gets exhausting. And you have to limit your exposure. Practice self-care. Make sure you take care of yourself. Because once you are drained, you are drained. And it takes a while to recover. And self-care helps. Remain calm. Remember, they thrive off of your emotions, off of your energy. If you freak out, if you get pissed, if you show you're pissed, or show you're annoyed, or show this, they will latch, they will keep going to try to drain you more. Don't internalize their criticisms. Their criticisms are towards you or towards someone else is basically an inward reflection. And what they're complaining about is probably what's wrong with them, or something they did in the past they feel guilty about, or something. And like I said, be assertive when you set your boundaries and seek support. The best thing you can do. I am speaking from experience. Have a small circle of people who can see through the bullshit. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could be 3 people. It doesn't matter. Have a small circle of people who have witnessed the bullshit or know about the bullshit, have been through the bullshit, and can see through it. That is your best thing that you can have. I got lucky enough that I managed to get that small circle that is highly supportive and can see through all the bullshit. And they don't look at me like I'm crazy if I say something seems off or something's up. They will sit there and be like, okay, well, let's talk about it. What do you think is going on? Let's unpack it. Let's, try to rationalize certain things and see if something still seems off. And I love them for that, and I appreciate them so much for it. Next would be grounding. Before you go, after you leave, you better start grounding. Because I'm going to say what my high priestess said to me. When you're grounding, you have like a fire hose worth of energy through you. Flowing through you. So that little, water gun squirting into the fire hose, it's not getting through. At least not easily if you ground out properly. I mean, some energies are stronger than others, but it certainly helps. Energy, shielding, protection. I would also, whenever you leave, I would put protections on yourself before you go to deal with them. And after you leave, cleanse. I don't care if it's Palo Santo, sage, sandalwood, whatever. Cleanse. You need to cleanse yourself after you leave. Is probably the best thing to do. Because it just gets all the ick off. The mix that I like to use is sage and lavender. The sage is cleansing, the lavender is calming. So it gets everything out of your head, and it helps. Now, if all that isn't working, or you want to take a different approach, you can try something called the gray rock technique. To be fair, I have not heard of this before today, but apparently it's a thing. Basically, you try to become emotionally detached and unresponsive, give very vague, short answers, and avoid emotional engagement. Ironically, I had done this with someone at one point, and they were telling me what a horrible person I was because I was so short with them. I wasn't trying to do anything. I have kids. I'm busy. If you're only getting a 1-2 word answer out of me and I have the kids, you're lucky you got an answer at all. Any other mother would agree with me. When you got your hands full, you're not wanting to answer anybody. Focus on your personal well-being. Remember, it's like the oxygen mask. You have to put your mask on before you can put on anyone else's. You need to take care of you. The last one, and it's probably the most difficult one, cut ties. And I hate saying it like this because as an empath does not want to do this to anyone ever. But there are some occasions where you just have to ghost them. Fully block them, pretend you don't exist. I hate saying it, but I mean, it's probably the quickest way to go about it, especially to avoid a confrontation or a more severe consequence. Now, all of this depends on your situation specifically. If it is a family member or your spouse who you're married to, it's not going to be easy to deal with, and you might have to go around about things a little bit differently. And I get that. That's perfectly fine. You can mix and match things in here outside of you have to set boundaries. No matter what, you set boundaries. That is the most important thing. And that was a mistake I've always made. And I think it's an empath issue because we want the people closest to us to feel like they can come to us with anything. And that makes setting boundaries difficult, to say the least. And I get that. I truly, truly get that. Also, if you're dealing with an emotional vampire, don't take anything home of theirs or that they have given you. Just don't. Because whenever you decide to cut ties with them, then you have to find every single thing they ever gave you. Down to a business card, down to a note, down to a freaking acorn. And burn it, bury it, dispose of it. Yeah, you don't want that headache? Please no. You really don't. It's not healthy. It's a lot of headache. I'm still... And you will find things forever. It's like just random things pop up. And it is annoying as hell. But, nonetheless, has to be done. But, why don't y'all tell me about your experience with emotional vampires and how you have dealt with them, or how you wouldn't say how you plan to deal with them, because then there's a chance that they could see your comment and try to stop you, unintentionally or otherwise. Some psychic vampires are stalkery. Another one that I've been dealing with is very stalkery. Technically, I should say that my husband's dealing with. But, on that note, everyone have a great day. In the comments or in the chat, tell me about what you've had to deal with in the past with emotional vampires and how you have dealt with them in the past. Let's make it a conversation. That way others have ideas of how to deal with it, because I am pretty sure I did not cover every way to deal with one. I have even heard things about making your energy so loud that they can't handle it, but that didn't make sense to me. If that's a thing, go ahead and tell me, but it didn't make sense to me, so I did not want to include it in the main list. To me, it made more sense to basically dull your energy and your emotions that way. They had nothing to feed off of, instead of basically making your energy way too loud. I would think they would thrive off that more. But everyone have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next week. I still have no clue what the class is going to be. It'll probably either be Elements or Tarot the Kiss Method. I know I was originally going to do that this week, but some things happened, and yeah, this seemed more important to do. But alright, everyone, have a good one. Bye.